This is Roots en Route.
Clara Reyes, born in Curacao, but grew up in St. Maarten. What makes him important as a human is the nature of the caliber of the humanity of the man. My grandparents are from St. Maarten, my great-grandmother from St. Maarten, and my great-great-grandmother from St. Maarten. When my mom came to St. Maarten in 1967, after journeying away, she said St. Maarten in 1967 consisted of women and young children and older heads. So these were the foundations of building St. Maarten. The women who pick rocks to build the airport runway, the women who dig wells, the women who walked, the women who walked over those hills to carry and sell their merchandise and sell their wares. I think that is a powerful reflection. Well, I especially love the fact that we are Uwalichi. Land of brave women. When I think about just pragmatically, and actually one of my friends asked me the other day, she's like, why are St. Maarten women so strong? Like, what is it about St. Maarten women? And I started to reflect. I'm like, you know what? There is a level of strong women here that are operational. I don't know if it's immediately connected to inheriting the name of the island. And now with reference to Swaliga, I think that's homage to the First Nations people that lived here, that saw the land of salt, that saw what the Great Bay was of, and gave honor to that body of water, and I feel like we cannot talk about St. Maarten without not including First Nations people, their demise, their extinction, by force. So for me, my legacy is attached to those that walked the land before me. So there's a level of reverence right through the line. I didn't just come here, we were brought here, and before us there was somebody else. So you have to give homage to those that survived and those that make it work.
Okay, very good.
So the Ponum. Okay, the Panam dance is not my sole story to tell. There are other people involved in the story. But when I came on the scene, I was simply asked, listen, we have this dance and we'd like you to research it and choreograph it for me. And this was done by Lesana Sekou. And this was like early, I think, when I came, like 97. It was a dance I had seen once as a child. Well, once when I was 18 years old. And I remember all these elders coming. It was at a festival called Sma Festak. Because St. Maarten didn't have a rich culture of contemporary and traditional. Most Caribbean islands, the traditional walks side by side with the contemporary. I wasn't lucky enough to have experienced that as much. So for me, whatever I was seeing was just the contemporary culture. So when this happened, I was like, wow, where did this come from? Although I spent a lot of time talking to my older heads, it didn't dawn on me there was an old dance, So finally I began the project. And basically I went around like you're doing right now, talking to older heads, going from house to house, talking to Parin, which is Emilia Wilson, and then Parin sent me to Miss Milo, and Miss Milo sent me to Miss Denden. And it was this connection of older heads that knew exactly who to send me to Miss Sakati in Colby, to Miss Hyman in French Quarter, and so began the journey. I scratched the surface of a history that was right there waiting to be unleashed, to be released. Panam dance basically is the story, the first voice story coming from the people of St. Maarten, descendants of the enslaved community, and they're telling what the day of liberation meant to them. And the song itself tells the story of the fact that when emancipation was declared, or they were like, Abi been a hiram long time, Bakra been a hidem, which means we know of the emancipation long time, but you're hiding it from us, And there's a line in the song say, oh, poor slave, oh, slave, oh, poor slave. I got emancipation. I've been working for a long, long time right on this island. I've been working for a long, long time, but massa been a hide 'em. Anyway, and piece by piece, I started putting the vocabulary together. Earlier than me was another woman called Carolyn Jenkins. And she was the first one that came to St. Maarten, and she was doing a dance class by Motions at the time. And she asked the kids, so what are your traditional dances? And they were like, we don't have no traditional dance. And she goes, that's impossible. Every culture have a traditional component, but we didn't grow up with it. So we got to learn her inventory, what she put together. And I said, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to touch it yet. And I said, let me do it from scratch. So whatever information I get, I can add to that. And that's what we've done. So we have dance vocabulary from Carolyn Jenkins combined with all the information I was able to acquire in my later interviews. In doing the research, I spent time talking to older heads, learning the dance vocabulary, learning the songs, spending time with people. I remember one time coming to Colombia, and everybody I spoke to, there was not one person that didn't want to get up and show me this dance. It was such a rich feeling in their body that I remember one time this old lady here in Colombia, I said, morning, knock on the door, knock, morning. And I saw this lady lying on her porch on a day bed. Like a bed on the porch, right? So I go, morning, ma'am. You know anything about the PanAm dance? She goes, the PanAm dance? the PanAm dance? I said, no, sit down. Because she was so frail, but whatever the PanAm dance meant to her was so powerful. She wanted to get up and show me. And I became friends for many years after. I would visit them on a regular. To this day, I will still visit Miss Evelyn Roberts in French Quarter. Not many of them are survivors. The process 97 till now, they were already all in their 70s and their 80s. Most of them have passed away. Actually, by the time I did my final interview, which was in 2002, from 97 until in 2002, I had lost quite a few people. So to hear this story as told to the voices of the First Nation and not read in a textbook that was done by some Dutch scholar or a European scholar or an American scholar, an archaeologist that was speaking from a place outside of themselves. This was so profound. That's what the PanAm is the first voice narrative as told by the people of St. Maarten about what the day of liberation from enslavement felt like, moved like, danced like, But most importantly, it's the first voice narrative from the people of St. Maarten.